So good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everybody, depending on where you are zooming in. Welcome to today's health seminar. Being a Sunday, we meet and we talk about matters health, how we can live a longer, healthier life. And today we are talking about our women. We are covering the topic of women health. How, of course, women can be able to live a longer, healthier life. And to take us through that session is a lady that has been in the wellness space for quite some time. She's an expert on matters wellness, and we consult her a lot. And she's going to take us through this session. And without further ado, I will welcome Margaret Amulavu. Karibu, Maggie.
Thank you so much, Fred. Thank you. I appreciate. Thank you for having me this afternoon on a technical thing, but welcome everybody and congratulations for joining us this afternoon. Just to welcome you, and you've done well to take some time away to just know about our health. I'll just say a little bit about myself and then we'll be off to the main session. Like Fred said, my name is Margaret Amulavu. Before this business, I worked for an international bank. And after working for this bank for 8.5 years, I chose to resign because one day we came home and our son was 3 years, said his mother doesn't come home. And he would tell each and every neighbor and everybody who walked into the house that his mother doesn't come home, which was true because I was in a bank of transition. I never got home before midnight. They made it comfortable, paid a lot of overtime, almost 2 times my salary. So it's like I was earning 3 times. Bought me dinner, so I didn't have to struggle to come home and cook. And then they gave me a cab to take me home. So basically it was a comfortable thing. But when I thought that my 3-year-old son thinks I don't come home, that was a bit of a stress for me. And then the other thing is that I come from a mixed background. My father are Kenyan, my mother are Malawian. Then I'm married to Charles, who comes from a different part from where my dad comes from. My dad comes from Eastern Kenya, Cumberland, and Charles comes from the western part of Kenya, Leluya land. And so I just thought my in-laws would just see this guy probably married a funny woman. And so after I got a second child, 2 years after my son spoke, I decided one day, you know what? I can put my career on hold, but I can't put my children's growth on hold. And for me, I'd understood at an early age that it is more important what I put in my children or what I live in there. I remember 30th of September, 1996. 3 p.m., I wrote my resignation letter across to where Charles was, and I gave it. But the one thing that I must say that I never regret having gone to the bank, that's where Charles and I met. And I must say that I was given a husband responsibilities. I left him with a house mortgage. We had a car loan. The boy was already 5 years going to school, an expensive school at that. I had a 6-month-old baby. And there I was without warning him that I've now resigned and I'm now a stay-home mom and he should take over. And he said, I remember after giving him that letter, I said, we are going to talk about it. 28 years later, we are still waiting to talk. So I just thank the Lord that he's been supportive. You know, sometimes when people see me, I'm just the tip of the iceberg. You know, an iceberg has got the bigger thing is submerged down. So I'm just the tip. There's somebody whose shoulders I stand on. And I thank God that he's been a supportive person, encouraged me. I remember in my early years in the business, I could not even talk in front of many people, not because I hadn't done that before. You know, when you're talking to people about your age and older, it becomes a bit of a challenge. And I relied on him a lot and the family just to present in front of them and to do presentations, make them sit and listen to me whether they liked it or not, because I had to do this. Because after I left the bank, I was happy for a week or a month. And after that, I realized, you know what, I need finances. And so there were things that were not going on. So I thank God today, 28 years later, I'm happy. Apart from the first decision that was good I made was to get married to somebody who would be supportive and be there for me. And the second best decision I made was to resign a bank job. And why? Because today I have no regrets. My son, who was 5 years when I left the bank, is now 32, actually turned 32. We actually grandparents, so we've got 2 kids, not kids, adults, Michael and Angela. Michael is married, he's got a grandchild, we call her Dhahabu, because of all this mix. For her it's worse, she's got 5 tribes. I don't know where she will choose which one to speak, but because of that, we call her Dhahabu, and I just thank the Lord that this is how far we have come. So that's just a bit about us, and let me get into our session. In the beginning, when I came in, we started off with a pack that had cleaning products, skincare, and health. I was not very keen about the skin and the health because when I was young, I was not yet 30, I was 29. I didn't have skin. I'd seen too many people apply products and their face looked like Coca-Cola, the neck looks like a Fanta because there's a color change. And then I would hear a lot of issues of cancer, kidney issues. And so me, I knew that the skin products, all of them are messed up. So I wasn't going to try them. The health products, like I said, I wasn't sick. And then, so I majored on the cleaning products and they did a fantastic job. And for about a year, my business was basically on the cleaning products, but about 6 months. But 6 months after we joined the business, we lost our second kid. And that is the time I decided to look at these health products. And because I really needed to do the business, I decided that I was going to make it my mission to study and understand them. But the greatest thing that happened for me and why I'm still here is that after we lost that kid and many other people went, within 6 months, we'd lost 4 family members who are people you eat and sleep with. I decided to try the health products and I decided to take what they call the stress program because that said that the products can do and work. So I took a place where they write for us what you can take when you have different challenges. And I remember taking what they said was for stress. I remember taking a Formula 4. I remember taking calcium, Macalmag, vitamin B complex, omega-3. Part of it is that I didn't go into depression. And I've been in depression before. That would be a story for another day. So I decided to look at these things. What are these things that are not medicine? And I not having gone into a depression of such a tragic thing, I decided that I was going to make it my mission to help other people who maybe have either the same challenges or probably another thing that can be of use. So these products for me, I don't know.
Sorry, Maggie, we've lost you.
Was that I think there was a network.
I think there's a there's a net challenge on your side.
Sorry, I think there was a network thing. I found out. Okay, let's see. Let me see.
We can see you, we can hear you, so, but you've been muted.
Sorry, Fred. I think it is somebody who tried to call. We don't have a kind of enough. Okay. I think I can proceed.
Yes, you can.
Just let me just share my screen at this point and I proceed from there. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I think there's no in on our. Are you able to see my screen? I think you're not seeing my presentation. Let me just see. My laptop is quite a bit slow. I don't know why. But anyway, let me go on as it opens up. And so I was saying that after I realized that these products did for me what they did, I made it a mission to just go and see these things and see what they do. So for me, Neolife is actually become my life. I don't know where I would be today if it wasn't for this business. When I look at it, the life I've led, it's all been Neolife. And I hate to think where I would be today if it wasn't for this business. I don't even want to think about it. So as we move on, and I hope my machine will open up that presentation. If it doesn't, we'll still go on. And today we are basically talking about women. And women are such a great deal. You know, one of the things about women, we are unique, we are uniquely made. And the thing that is very amazing is that we don't break easily, you know. And I'm an avid Bible reader, and I tell people that you see the men, they were created from matope or mud. And as they had to take a bone. So you can see that if the a piece of mud falls, it has to break. But if you drop even a bone, it cannot do anything. No wonder we've got so much resilience and we can be able to handle a lot. So today I felt that I need to cover things about women, and especially that we are going into the festive season. And I know we are going to have a lot to be doing. And then I also believe that if a woman understands health, the whole family will be good. Because most of the time it is us who make decisions on what will be eaten, what will be done where. And so it is usually very important that a woman understands health and wellness so that you can be able to help the rest of the family. Because if you understand, the whole family is sorted out. I don't know whether you grew up at a time when people were saying that when mommy is happy, everything goes okay. And if she's not happy, then nothing goes on. When mommy is happy, everything is okay. So we are saying that we are an integral part of what happens when we understand and deal with nutrition. And I'm trusting that my screen can be seen now. I hope it can be seen, I believe. And let me just start at the very basic place and say that they're just basic things.
Sorry, we can't see the screen. We cannot see the screen.
Oh my goodness, you're not seeing my screen. Okay, that means I started off again. Okay, let me just, let me see, is it the sharing?
Yeah, I think you, maybe you just click on the share button. The green arrow.
Are we good now? We okay, Fred?
Now you've started screen sharing, so let's see whether the picture will open up. Yes. You can go to slideshow.
Okay, we okay now?
Yes, we are good.
Sorry, I don't know why it is breaking off, but I can hear you well. So we're just saying that, you know, the World Health Organization in 2020, but they were saying by the year 2020, we are going to have a lot of issues from all the ones we call the chronic diseases that don't seem to have a cure. You know, people get sick and they're forever on medicine. So I usually tell people you either eat food as medicine or one day you have to take medicine as food. And it looks like majority of people have chosen to take medicine as food because we are not too careful, even as we are growing up. And so I'm just going to go through some things that women get, issues that women get, and then we'll be able to talk about the solutions that are there. First of all, there's premenstrual syndrome or PMS. And I remember one time when they were talking about PMS, that it is such a bad challenge that somebody said it is even better to get a terrorist than to have a woman with PMS, because in the morning she's one thing, by afternoon she's another, and you're thinking, is there anything that is not okay? Because it's like we have this up and down, we don't seem to be stable people. And PMS usually is a combination of, like I said, emotional, physical, and psychological disturbances that occur, especially during ovulation and the menstrual flow. So people with PMS are very easily irritable, low mood, bloating, and they're just not happy. They've just got like mood swings. And then we've got pregnancy issues. There are people who get complications either when they are expecting, and some don't even able to conceive at all. And some of us, even when we conceive, we get miscarriages after miscarriages. And then we get people who go into labor before time. You get issues like hemorrhoids. Hemorrhoids are swelling that are at the back of the anus, because either your stool is too hard, it's not getting out the way it should. So in that process of you pushing and pushing, because it is so hard, it actually bursts some veins that are at the anus, and as a result, you get what we call hemorrhoids. So those are some of the things we are going to tackle. Then we've got osteoporosis. Osteoporosis, as women get older, we lose our bone mass. And they say that actually ladies should start taking care of their bone mass as early as 9 years. But most of us, by the time you realize that your bones are weak, you already have a challenge. And so you find women with issues of the bones, especially as you get older, you can't squat in a loo that is down. If you go down, you can't get up. You've got issues with the teeth. You've got issues with the back. And most of the time when women fall down, especially from 40 and above, they break what we call the hip bone. And so people are wondering what's that. So with time, our bone mass reduces. And so the bone becomes too thin and it cannot support our system. Then we've got other challenges that we're going to talk about. We've got fibroids and cysts. Fibroids are basically growths that are in your stomach or mostly it is in the ovaries, in the womb. They're just swellings that are there. And then cysts are found in the ovaries especially, and they're like fluid filled. So fibroids are actually growths. And sometimes when people have got fibroids, the fibroids make you anemic. They take all your blood. Sometimes you bleed too much. And you've got just these swellings that are inside your womb, and you're not able to conceive when you've got fibroids. It's like they've taken the place where the child would have been in the womb. And so you get a lot of challenges. Most of the time, it is usually anemia. And you actually look pregnant. Some people can even look like they're 5 months pregnant, but there isn't anything. There's just swellings. And then, of course, we talked anemia. Anemia is where your blood level is very low. And when your blood level is low, it means that your red blood cells are very low and you're having a deficiency in hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is what transports oxygen to the whole system. So when you've got anemia and your hemoglobin levels are low, it means that the body is not getting the blood as it should be. And it will be unfortunate for you, especially the brain cannot even lack oxygen for even 1 minute. It would really just mess you up. So we are saying you need to be having proper blood levels. Then there is edema. Edema is water retention. There are people who maybe after they travel, there's a lot of fluid in the legs. And some people also, when they're expectant, the water amount in their system is so much. And sometimes they even have to be given a tablet to try and release that water. Usually the swellings will be in the ankles, in the feet. You can even tell maybe from the eyes, they look puffy and swollen. So that edema is collection of actually water, but usually in the lungs, and it makes one usually have short breath. Then there are people with sexual disorders, very low sex drive. And so you find that is a bit of a problem. Watu wanasema unaosha vyombo mpaka saa 5 ya usiku bado unaosha vyombo. I'm sure the people in East Africa are understanding my language. Those who can't understand Swahili, ask the person who invited you, probably in East Africa, they can be able to translate to you. And then we've got menopause. Menopause is where the lady's blood flow is no longer there. And usually it happens between, some people get it as early as 35, but it can go actually up to 60 when you're still having your menstrual. But most women, by the time they're actually 50, they no longer have a menstrual flow. And we say you've got to menopause if it's a whole year passes and you're not actually getting any menstrual. Then we say now you've started your menopause, and then there are other challenges that come with that. And so then we've got infection, bacterial infections, especially during your cycle. There are people who get yeast infections, usually itching. Sometimes they also get a fish-like disorder from down there, and it's not comfortable. It just feels not okay. And then, of course, people get things like candida. That's part of the bacterial infection. And when you get candida, they give you what we call candida B and other things to be able to take care of your system. And then, of course, we've talked about the itching and the bad odor that comes. And then finally, we've got breast and cervical cancer. Those are hormonal cancer. Hormonal cancers means it has to do something with your hormones. So breast, cervical, for the men, they can get the prostate cancer. Those have got to do with hormones, which means that it is the hormones that are disruptive. And then, of course, we've talked about hormonal imbalance. There are some people who, because if you've got an hormonal imbalance, usually if you've got especially a problem with your thyroid, you're going to realize your body cannot handle temperatures. Mara, they are high, Mara, they are low, and it is just such a big deal. So those are the things we're going to talk about. And then we are saying that our life or our health is dependent on 3 things: exercise, diet, and rest. And I won't talk so much about exercise and rest because I know most people understand, but basically 3 times a week you're supposed to exercise and what your body mass index. At your height, you're supposed to be certain kilos. Then rest, we are saying minimum 6 hours, at least up to 8 hours. You need to have enough sleep. Why? There are some organs of the body that do not function if you're not sleeping. In fact, a lot of women with weight, it has been related to not having enough sleep. So if you're not having enough sleep and you have got weight, you probably should check that you rest enough. And then, of course, there are other things that happen, usually like skin repair and renewal happens. And there are things that, other cells that only multiply when we rest. So if you're not resting enough, it's not good for you. And then, of course, your brain function is impaired. You cannot make correct judgment, especially like on the road. You're seeing things that are too near and they are too far, and yet it is just right close. No wonder we get a lot of accidents when people have not rested. I'm mainly going to major on diet because diet is a big deal. And we say diet is, the food can make or break you. Somebody has actually said we are digging our graves with forks and knives because as we eat, seems there are certain things we are doing. And most of us are eating foods that have got lack of nutrients. Someone has said we are an overfed society, but unnourished. We just eat for the sake of it. We almost treat our bodies like a garbage can. Whatever you want to eat, you just throw it in there as long as it makes you full and not satisfied. And there's a difference between full and satisfied. Full is you eat until there's no more space. Satisfied is until you have just eaten just enough. And then 75% of us are consuming foods that are incorrect. You know they are not good for you. Fast foods, soft drinks, foods that are very bad, not okay, but we are still eating them. And so we are saying that most of us, our health status, when we are about 20, we are very vibrant. By the time we're between 30, 40, there, we are so tired. You know, you're so tired. Even if you sleep, you're still tired. And I can relate to this because I remember living in a maisonette. And if I went up, I wouldn't come down because I'm just so tired. And then, of course, you eventually get sick. And this is how our graph goes. So if you're vibrant up to 20 and you're going to live up to 80, can you imagine for the next 60 years, you're sick and tired? And no wonder many of us are not looking forward to aging gracefully, because you're thinking of that shosho and all the diseases. And if you've got older parents, you're thinking of how much medication they need. And so you're thinking, you know what, you would really want to live, but you're even not too sure. You're 50-50, but we are saying today that we can teach you, and we will teach you how you can be vibrant until you just drop dead because of age. And we are saying that, like we said, food can make or break you. Right at the bottom there of that pyramid, this is called a health food pyramid. And it's been done by the World Organization and experts. And the first thing we are saying is that you need to watch your weight. Your weight is a big deal. Weight can give you diabetes. It can give you cancer. It can give you arthritis. It can make you lose your self-esteem. So weight is a big deal. So if you've got any health challenge and you've got weight, the first thing is actually drop down that weight. It's no longer fashionable. I know in Western, where I'm married, it's like the bigger the size you are, they say you're being taken care of, not realizing you've actually carried everything. Somebody has said, let's not say that you're too big. We just say that you are horizontally challenged, because everything is moving with you. You know, there are people who they move, everything moves. We are saying that is not in order. Then 40% of your diet should be whole grains and processed foods. They are brown in color, don't taste very nice, but you usually fill up with a bit. And especially when we talk of bread, I know most of us eat bread, and we are not talking about brown bread. Brown bread, if the price of a bread is the same, brown looking bread is the same price as a white looking one, then that is just color they have put. It's usually 3-4 times the cost of normal bread, but you fill up with less pieces, and it is very, very healthy for you. Then 30% of your diet should be fruits and vegetables. So when we're talking fruits and vegetables, we are actually talking about colors. And colors mean different things. So like we have got 3 types of fruits and vegetable colors. So those colors mean different. We've got what we call carotenoids, the brightly colored. We've got flavonoids, which are deep, like the deep purple colors. Then we got cruciferous, which are like the broccoli and the cabbage. Those are all 3 different types of fruits and vegetables. So in those 3 categories, you need to take 6 to 9 different colors. Then, of course, we've got the protein, the meat, and we are saying preferably take white meat and not red, because red meat does not digest. It takes 3 days, and in the process, it just rots and gives you acid, and acid is not good. Then refined fats and sugars, especially the sugar, we are saying take very little. In fact, like I said, from where I'm married, we take a lot of tea, and we could even be consuming 1/4 kilo of sugar in the name of tea, because we've got a special cup. The lawyers in the house, I know you can identify with this cup called Risovera. It's a special cup just for tea. It is so big, it covers your face. So in the process of taking this tea mug, you could actually be taking, even consuming 1/4 kilo of sugar. And yet they say your body cannot handle more than 6 teaspoons, because there's sugar all the way from when you started eating. So though we are supposed to eat this way, this is what we are doing. And I forgot to mention that you need 2 to 2.5 liters of water, and not drink. I know there are people who say they can't take water. Water is just water. You know, if you say you're taking juices and tea, it's like a petroleum car being given diesel. I don't think it's going to work very well. It's not going to work well. So water is just water. If you don't like the taste of water, maybe add honey, which is natural sugar, or put some lemon, or you can put some of these herbal things, ginger, turmeric, just to give it some taste, but water is just water. And we are saying this is now how we are eating. This is typical of how we are eating. What we should take the least, we are taking the most. And when you eat refined foods, which is at the top here with the bigger percentage up here with the soft drinks and the fast foods, they actually convert to sugar. Your body does not know that you have taken food. It converts it to sugar. In school, we used to call it simple sugars or glucose. And then, of course, we talked of protein, the red meat. Now, when this sugar of processed foods, which is now glucose, combines with red meat acid, it gives you cancer cells. So you grow them. You give them food. And so many people are saying, wamerogo, wamefanywa nini? You're the one who's giving yourself issues by eating the wrong food. Then fruits and vegetables we eat. When we are sick, we know what to give. When a child is growing up, mothers, you know, that at 6 months, the child starts telling you, introduce a fruit and a vegetable, because that's the only thing that can sort out immunity. In fact, Africans, we are supposed to be the least sick people, because our food is still so good. We've got all these fruits and vegetables. But for a long time, people thought fruits and vegetables, especially the men in our country, it was like a women's thing. They're the ones who should eat fruits and vegetables. And what you realize is that you're not doing yourself any justice. And then whole grain foods, when people see you eating brown food, they start thinking you're sick and something is wrong. And then, oh my God, for our BMI, you don't know your weight, you don't know anything. There's some 4 or 5 things that if you're on this call, you must find out before the end of today. It's about 5:30, so you've got another 3-4 hours before you go to bed. Make sure you know your BMI. Make sure you know your normal blood pressure. What should it be? What should your normal sugar levels be? What should your blood level be? For men, it's up to 15. For ladies, up to 13 blood level. What should your, for men, they need to do what we call a PSA test. If your PSA test is 4 and below, your prostate is healthy. Even at 4, it is a bit risky because it means you're almost getting prostate cancer. Then for the ladies, you must go for your pap smear. So there are some basic things you must know. We are not leaving it to doctors because you see this body, it is you who carries it. And we are saying this is typically how we eat, with very minimum physical activity. And because of the remotes and all the gadgets that have come around us, even just waking up to go and put off the TV, you won't, or putting off a gadget, you've got all these automated things and it's not helping us. So we are saying you need some physical movement to be able to help you. And I know you can identify with all those challenges. You can see how unhealthy that is. And there are some people who tell me that they are overweight because their genetics say that they should be that way. I think from that, what you're seeing, I don't know whether you were seeing a fat skeleton there. Just see that skeleton. The rest of this is just a mass. So there is nothing like your body is anything. The skeleton will never get beyond the size it should be. And so these are the things we are attracting by having weight. And that's why at the very beginning, I said, if you've got weight, the first thing, please get rid of it, because these are the other relatives you are attracting when you've got weight. And so we are saying the first thing you should start with something we call a Pro-Vitality pack. A Pro-Vitality pack will fill up all that food pyramid from the whole grains to everything there. And I'll just start off that the whole grains, which are right at the bottom here, and refined foods, that's TNN that takes care of that. Then we got carotenoid, our fruits and vegetable mixture, a wonderful product. It took 17 years of research to be produced. It is an immune booster, anti-aging. It helps to control cholesterol levels so that your cholesterol does not get oxidized and therefore have pressure problems. It also helps to form anti-cancer cells. They are called T killer. You take carotenoid 3 a day, it boosts your immunity by 37%, but on the T killer cells by 20%, which gives you almost 0 chances of getting cancer. And then it also helps with cataracts. There are people who are always going to Kikuyu Hospital, especially in Kenya, to have something peeled off, a layer that has grown on. And then we've got omega-3 fish oil. I'll talk more about this when we move on, and then a multivitamin. So we are saying at the very basic, you need to have a Pro-Vitality pack and a Neo Life Shake. And we are saying that with just those 2, you're going to be vibrant and fall off because your time has come. Now, let me go on to the major things, and I'll focus on this page quite a bit. And you're going to find that if you're writing, I don't know if you'll be able to write. I talk quite fast, but I believe that you're going to get this recording. And these are the products that each and every woman on this call needs. First of all, I want to say that especially calcium, girls should start on calcium by 9 years. 9 years. 9 years, because our bone formation by the time we are 30, it has already started dwindling. So you need to build it up. So a product like calcium, at the time a lady is 9 years, a girl, they should start on calcium. But before that, let me go just a little bit back and say that, first of all, the disease you get when you're a grown-up did not start when you're a grown-up. There's something that is called 1,000 days of a child's life. The first 2 years of a child's life are really, really important. They're called 1,000 days. It's not even 2 years. It's 2 years and about 9 months, because that's why we say 1,000 days. That's the 9 months the lady was pregnant, year 1 and year 2. If you handle a child between those ages, you're going to have a very, very good health. So if you mess up there, just know that the mess that is come on years later didn't come on now. It started right at the foundation. So the firstly, getting expectant. So where should you start? In the other world, the African society, we are a bit not linked so much on our health. We feel it is a thing that you handle when it comes, but that is not good. In fact, you should prepare your body like a year before you get pregnant, a whole year. I know most of us, when we get pregnant is when we are doing things. A whole year you start preparing your body for pregnancy. So if you're a person who is intending to actually be able to have a healthy baby, you should start first of all with yourself. So we are saying at the very basic, do you have Pro-Vitality and Your Life Shake to make sure that your body can cope with what is coming? Because as a lady, when you become pregnant, all the nutrients you don't have or you don't take in, the child takes them in. And that's why you find most people are pregnancy already. They're having like, by the time The child forms in 3 months. So the first 3 months, the semester is forms. And when a child immediately get pregnant, they actually start using what we call fatty acids. And fatty acids are found in the brain. And because the further as women get, the more children you get, the more one will call. There were times you find that somebody calls a girl the boy's name and the boy a girl's name, and there are probably two of them, and they're thinking, "What's wrong with you, mommy?" It's like the more children you get, the less brain you're having, because they're taking all the fatty acids from the brain. Because the child has to get the brain development. That's the first part that forms. So you know what? Get yourself on Pro Vitality and New Life Shake before, like a year before. Start taking, even if you're not going to take every month, preferably every month. But if not, then every you've got that combination, because then can fertilizer, we do what? But how come we don't do the same when we want to get ahead? That whatever you take as a casual thing, you become a casualty. So don't become a casualty. Do things intentionally. Everything that is positive, you've got to be intentional about it. You realize that nobody grows weeds. But if you want to have a good garden, there's work to do. There's weeding to do. There's taking care of it. There's watering. There's manure. So the same thing you need to do for your body. So before you conceive, be on Pro Vitality Pack and New Life Shake. The other two products that are very key are vitamin E and zinc. There are some people who are not conceiving because their ovum is too small. The egg for a lady is not called a sperm, it's called an ovum. If it is too small, it cannot get fertilized. And so the zinc and vitamin E actually give the right size of the ovum to get fertilized. The other product that you might need just for conception is feminine herbal, because some people are not balanced. And this hormonal imbalance thing is so crazy because most people go for what we call IVF. And with IVF, I know of somebody, it's just that we don't have enough time to call her on, who was on IVF for 10 years, and yet just using these products in 2 months, they conceived. And each IVF treatment in Kenya is about $1 million bob. So somebody has spent 10 million trying to conceive, and yet with products of less than 20,000 Kenya shillings, they are able to sort themselves out. So we are saying that nutrition is a big deal. So the other product that you might need just to conceive is feminine herbal, because if you've got an irregular cycle as a lady, you cannot conceive. You are only fertile 6 days in a month, which need to be predetermined. And that's what we call the ovulation period. That's the only time you can actually be able to conceive. And usually you get a little bit wet down there. It's a bit slimish. And you feel that your sex drive is a bit high during that time as a lady. That's actually the time you can actually conceive. But most of us, because we don't study our bodies, we don't even know what that is. But feminine herbal will regulate your cycle. So if it's 21 days, it's 21. Some people have 21. Another month they miss. It goes to 28, 32. Our cycle can be anywhere between 21 and 35. 21 and 35 is a regular cycle. Because some people, they feel like the 35 days is too long. Our systems are very different. And that's how come our hormones behave that way. So feminine herbal is going to stabilize you and find it easier able to conceive. So those are the basic products. If you wanted to conceive and you're having an issue with conception, with getting pregnant, Pro Vitality, New Life Shake, vitamin E, zinc, feminine. That's are the very basic. So they are all here. But as I go along, I'll also explain other things. Then by 9 years, you should put them already on calcium and magnesium. And of course, when they're younger, girls should use Vita Squares and VitaGuard. If they're too young, below a year, they cannot be able to suckle. They can use, we call it Liquivite. I've not put it here. Liquivite is what people younger who cannot suckle, then they can be able to do Liquivite, liquid vitamin. Otherwise, up to about 10 years, Vita Squares, VitaGuard, omega-3 are must. You cannot do without them. And of course, Neo Life Shake. Now we move on older. By 9 years, you should already be on calcium. Calcium is so key for women. First of all, calcium is involved in the bone structure. And many pregnant women get issues with their bones and their teeth. You realize many people, they've got back issues, they've got rotten teeth, and they don't know what it is. They get muscle pull by the second trimester. By 6 months, the people get such a muscle pull and they're not sleeping at night. All those are indications that you're not having enough calcium. But the worst bit is that if you don't have calcium when you go to childbirth, you calcium, you don't get coagulation, so your blood goes out endlessly. So some of the deaths that we have seen as people give birth and they're saying it is because of the blood. Imagine if you only had calcium, a product that goes for about 2,500 Kenya shillings, surely. I don't know. I sometimes feel people don't know where they're investing. They can buy a phone of 30,000 Kenya shillings or $3,000, but they cannot buy a product of $200 to take care of their health. I think that is like a bit of upside down thinking. The other very key product that as ladies we need is, of course, I talked about Feminine Herbal. Feminine Herbal for everybody across the board. And for ladies, you can actually take Feminine Herbal as soon as the cycle starts, the puberty for the girls. And one of the things I realized is that girls who take Feminine Herbal from puberty, they don't have challenges. You see this thing of exchanging words with the mother, they seem to be rowdy. It's actually a hormonal thing. And they have no control and they don't know about it. So Feminine Herbal will balance that child until you will not even know you have a teenager in the house. I've always said that Angie, being the younger one, I have never known that we've had a teenager. She's now 22, and those things, sijua amefanya nini, ameruka fence, ameenda wapi, arguing with you, it doesn't happen. So Feminine Herbal, a very key product for ladies across the board. From the moment they hit puberty, give them Feminine Herbal. And apart from that, of course, we talked about it, balancing hormones. So Feminine Herbal, from puberty up to when we get our premenstrual syndrome, because at PMS, it controls things like the mood swings, because there are people who get mood swings. There's something there called St. John Wort, a type of a herb that is involved with calming you down. So this product, Feminine Herbal, has got about 9 different herbs, some of them which control your mood, others control your cycle days, others control how much blood you can be able to get out. Because if you bleed for too long, then you become anemic. If you're anemic, you don't have enough blood, then you can even get a heart challenge because the body needs blood. Where blood is not flowing to, it starts rotting and you're going to get a challenge. So Feminine Herbal, a must for your hormones. And then also Feminine Herbal helps to prevent cervical cancer, the hormonal cancers, because they are being brought because of the hormone disruptions that are happening. Another very key product for us ladies, vitamin E. Vitamin E is actually sometimes called a sex vitamin. People with very low libido, because it's got to do with the circulation of the blood, including, of course, the men. So vitamin E, very, very key. It helps with libido issues. It helps with blood circulation, blood flow from head to toe, and especially people who are diabetic. People who are diabetic, their blood is too heavy. So they need vitamin E, which is a blood thinner, to allow blood to go to each and every cell of your body. The fact that blood does not get to the limbs, especially the feet and the hands, that's what makes the diabetic people be amputated. I got a very unfortunate incident one time in Machakos. Somebody had all the 4 limbs amputated. Why blood is not getting there? Because where blood is not getting, it starts rotting. And for them to stop that rotting, they cut it off. I don't know who gave them that idea, because they cut it off. And imagine a diabetic person is already not healing. So I don't know whether they are really helping. Imagine vitamin is needed to ensure that blood goes to each and every part about of the body. Just a certain thing on vitamin E, it is a blood thinner. People as those blood thinners.
Sorry, Maggie, we have lost you. Sorry, guys, today Maggie seems to be having a problem with network. I think she's back. Karibu, Maggie, we can't hear you though.
Right now, sure, my system is really misbehaving.
Now we can hear
Fred,
you.
where did you lose me? At what point did you lose me? Are you able to tell? Fred?
I'm just trying to think what you are talking about. You're talking about blood thinner. Something about the blood thinner.
Okay, I was at the products, vitamin E. Okay, let me just go back there. Sorry, I think my system today is a bit of a challenge, but we will be. Yeah, I was talking about vitamin E, and I was saying that vitamin E, being a blood thinner, you don't take all of it. You're not allowed to take all of it at a go. You must take it whatever. Sorry. Oh, my slides have gone back, but we were on vitamin E. And I was just saying that I'm trying to go back to the current slide. Okay, it's not.
And we
Okay,
we can't
let me
see
just.
the slide, by the way. We can't see the slide.
Are you seeing? Are you seeing?
No, we can't see the
Are you
slide.
seeing? My goodness. So let me just stop sharing and then I start again. My network really is a problem. Sorry for that. Wow. Are you seeing, Fred? Hello? Hello?
Not yet. Not yet. We haven't. The slides have not appeared again.
Wow. Oof. I don't know what is happening. My laptop has misbehaved. Oh, goodness. And the cursor is not moving. So, okay. It has jammed on my side like totally. So let me just go on with the story of vitamin, even as I try to do what I need to do, but I'm seeing like it has really given me a problem on my side. I'm not even able to get off to see where the issue is. It's like totally jammed on my side. Let me say that about vitamin E, I was saying that vitamin E is a blood thinner. And usually with a blood thinner, you don't take all, if you, like when you want to be able to conceive, you need to take up to 4, but you don't take all the 4 at a go. You have to add extra one per week. So you start with 1 times 1, then 1 times 2, 1 times 3, then 1 times 4, then you go on. You have to add it progressively. You should not take all of it, all the 4 at a go. So vitamin E, very, very key for fertility. And I'll say for those people who get very dry in the vagina because they sometimes get pain during intercourse, they can actually apply vitamin E. It is very, very good. Vitamin E, again, for the ladies, is good for the skin. It helps with cell renewal and repair. So you can actually split a vitamin E capsule and apply on your face when you're going to bed. And you're going to realize you get very, very smooth skin, very good looking, because it is involved in cell renewal and repair. So vitamin E is a product that is just on another level. And then, of course, it also helps as an antioxidant. Antioxidant reduce the aging process. The other very key product is cruciferous. Because my screen has refused to come up, let me just talk. So in the interest of time, cruciferous plus actually helps with hormonal balance. And what cruciferous does is that it actually stops cancer cells from growing. You know, they say that the multiplication of cancer cells is so high. So one of the things that cruciferous does, it actually has got something in it that eats cancer cells. And so it is a product that you need to use every so often. You can maybe take 3 months, take a break, another 3 months, because it is a product that you need, because cancer is become a menace. And many people are not understanding what to do. So cruciferous plus is helps with hormonal balance. And also cruciferous helps a lot with hot flashes. People having very excessive sweating, they can actually do up to 3 a day. It controls that sweating that is happening because it's more of a hormonal issue. So it regulates that. Because the thing about, especially menopause, the temperature sometimes goes too high, sometimes too low. The sweating is so much. Some people, because of the menopause issue, they can actually wet their pillow at night because of the sweating. So cruciferous helps in that. So cruciferous is very, very key for hormonal balance. And even for the men, you just have to have cruciferous with you because it will help you to manage any hormonal cancer. Cruciferous is also very useful for people who've got leukemia. You know, things like smokies are the ones bringing leukemia. And cruciferous has been identified as the key product in dealing with especially blood cancer. It helps all the cancers, but if even a child gets blood cancer, they can actually use cruciferous. That is excellent in that. Then I come and then talk about vitamin B complex. Vitamin B is very key. It helps especially with the energy production. Vitamin E also, when it combines with iron, helps with blood levels. There are people whose blood levels are so low, the anemia thing. And so if you've got an anemic person, if you're a lady, by the way, you get anemia, first of all, check your cycle. Because if your cycle is wrong, you're going to have an issue with the hormone, with the blood levels. So if you're a lady and you're getting anemia issues, first of all, in fact, start with feminine. because once your hormones are balanced, you don't overbleed, and so forth, you don't have low blood levels. So B complex combined with iron will give you very good hemoglobin production, red blood cells. And then the other thing about vitamin B, recently there's been a research going on vitamin B17, and they're saying that vitamin B17 helps to deal with cancer, whichever cancer. And apparently our B is exactly all the B's together. So you even if you hear of a B you've never had, just take our vitamin B, because it's all inclusive. And the thing about taking an all inclusive, we are saying exactly how food appears. You know, sometimes you see vitamin B12, B6, and you're thinking, if it was in a food, it should appear as a whole. So at what point do they get it separated? So the New Life products are done whole food. They take everything exactly how food would have been and produce the products. And that's why our products are unique, and they do quite a great job and different from every other thing that you might be having. And so vitamin B is very good for energy levels. It's also anti-stress. People who
Okay, we seem to have lost you again, Maggie. Sorry, guys, today we've had a rough afternoon. I think it's one of those days. Sometimes the net just chooses to misbehave, and today Maggie is having a very rough time. But I believe we have learned something so far. She's fallen off. I know she's going to come back in a minute. So I can see on the group, somebody is asking, do these products interfere with family planning? Well, these products balance. When you take feminine herbal, just feminine herbal balances the hormones. So the hormones, when you balance your hormones, the body is able to function normally, the way God intended it to function. Now, if you're on family planning, then you shouldn't take feminine herbal, because then it will balance your hormones. And family planning works by unbalancing your hormones. And that is why family planning is so lethal, because it interferes with your hormones, and chances of getting cancer, amongst many other diseases, from family planning is very, very high. So it's important to get yourself off family planning for a while, balance your hormones with feminine herbal, cruciferous plus, TNN, so that you can be able to normalize your hormones and avoid getting yourself into cancer later in life. Yeah. And I always tell people with feminine herbal, it balances your hormones, so your menses becomes your menses become normal. So you find that now what happens is that when your menses are regular, you can even use the normal, the natural method of family planning, where you can count your days. So that can happen when you use feminine herbal. Somebody else was asking another question here. Let's see here. Anemic patient. Yes, we do have products for somebody who's anemic. Of course, your TNN, your omega-3, your CalMag, your vitamin E. If the doctor has recommended iron supplement, then you can give Formula 4. But if not, you don't give a product which has iron. Okay, Maggie, I have made you a co-host on the new gadget, so you can be able to continue.
Sorry, yeah, my laptop is misbehaving. So let me just use the phone so that I just finish, because I know that there were people who are following. So let me just use the phone. I think my laptop has got a challenge. And so I was just talking about, cruciferous that you must use, that helps with balancing hormones. And especially people who get hot flashes, who get menopause. So it regulates the blood, it regulates the body so that you don't have excessive sweating. And I was saying that also it helps to stop things like leukemia. Leukemia has been identified. Cruciferous actually eats cancer cells, all cancer cells. but for leukemia, it's exceptionally beneficial. And so we are saying that you need to take care of your system as far as hormones are concerned. The other final product that I would like to talk about is multimineral plus alfalfa. Just the same way we've got a multivitamin Formula 4, Formula 4 plus, we also have got a multi-mineral. And our multi-mineral, it's got macro and micro. You need the two. Macro are needed in small percentages, but if you don't have, you get a challenge. Like, for example, now we don't have an iron supplement on its own. So we've got multi-mineral, has got all the minerals together. So it's got like a small percentage of it. So if you're looking for iron, for example, I said if you're anemic, you need vitamin B complex and iron. So you'd take the Provitality B complex and then the multi-mineral because of the fact that it has got the iron. So if you're looking for iron, go for multi-mineral. The other key thing that is found is multi-mineral is something like iodine. If you don't have enough iodine, you've got a thyroid problem. And most people with thyroid issues, conception is a problem, and then they get different body temperatures. There are people whose body temperature can just drop and going up. There are people who get cold feet. I don't know if you know people, even if they wore socks, their feet are cold. Those people, imagine multimineral is what can sort you out. Also in multimineral, there are things like chromium and selenium that are needed, especially by diabetic people, because like there's a burning effect that takes place in people who are diabetic. And that chromium sorts out that burning kind of a thing that happens inside the system. So multimineral, very key. And also multimineral helps actually to control the flow. If you can't take feminine for whatever reason, because some people, I found 1 or 2 people who the herbs in it don't work with them well, and not that it's a problem with the product, it's their systems. There are people who are just also allergic to natural things. If you cannot take then feminine, then you can use multimineral to actually control your cycle so that you don't overbleed. Like what Fred, I think he was addressing somebody there. If you're overbleeding, then you've got a problem, because if you've got low blood count, you cannot conceive with ease. And then there are also some ladies whose cycle stops. If your blood level is not at 12 or it's below actually 7, you're not going to get a cycle, because the body is made in such a way that it's got its own intelligence mechanism and it can stop itself. So if you find maybe there's nothing really wrong with you, you've not reached menopause and you're still having issues, you're not getting your cycle, and you address it as soon as possible. Some people have come to me and saying, I still want to conceive, but their cycle stopped over a year ago. That is too late. In about a month or 2 at worst, you should already be starting to address it. And then finally, let me finish off by saying that Neolife Shake is also another very key product. Neolife Shake handles 3 things. It handles antibodies. Antibodies are things that help you to fight disease. It helps with enzymes. If you don't have certain enzymes, you cannot break down certain foods, and so you end up with an allergy. So anytime somebody has got an allergy, it means they are not taking the correct combination of protein, and therefore they are not forming the right enzymes that break down the food. So if somebody has got allergy, then they need the Neolife Shake. Then the other thing about the Neolife Shake, it controls hormones. And we all know, even the men have hormones. You know, whereas as we are getting menopause, men are getting andropause. I don't know whether you have seen the men becoming kipara. These are, they're getting bolts. Usually the center of the head is getting, it's narrowing and narrowing, almost no hair, and getting bald. That is actually an effect of andropause or a hormonal imbalance. Also, the men can know if they're, I know we are talking about women, but I think it's also important to bring in the men. How will you know a man has got hormonal imbalance? They get female features. There are men who look like God, they've got a bust, they've got a backside. So that is actually a sign of hormonal imbalance. Or somebody who keeps on shouting. Some of them, it's not intentional, it's a hormonal thing. And then finally, to cap it all, that women hormone issues have got a lot to do with the laundry soaps that we use. And so if you're not a distributor, ask the person who has invited you to this call to show you our cleaning products, because they're going to help you a big deal. I came to realize part of why women have a lot of weight is actually the laundry soap. And I'll tell you how. If you use an ordinary laundry soap and your clothes dry, when you just shake them a bit, there's some flaky things that fly. Those flaky things are soap that did not dissolve. So you wear an outfit and you sweat, slowly through the pores, they start getting in. And those are the same things that give you things like fibroids. There are things, fibroids are growth that takes place inside the body because of those challenges of the imbalance, especially, and the chemical things that we are having. Somebody has said, women, by the time we leave the house, we have got over 200 chemicals, from the hairspray to the makeup to the lotion to now you can imagine the laundry soap and whatever else we apply to look good. So I'm saying that please learn to read labels. There's some things don't use. Things that have got mercury, don't use them, because those things are going to interfere with your blood. And anything that changes your skin has already interfered with your blood. So Fred, thank you so much for this opportunity. My laptop has really misbehaved. I don't know what we are going to do. Maybe one of these days I'll just maybe record an offline session when I've talked about this and send it so that it will have a proper recording that you can be able to distribute to the team. Thank you so much, and may the Lord.
Thank you so much, Maggie. We truly appreciate. Technology usually has its own challenges, so we totally understand. But I believe the message is home. I believe that we've been able to get quite a bit from the session. I believe the members have learned quite a bit. So we have come to the end of our session today. And remember, every Sunday we are here and we talk about matters health, how to live a longer, healthier life. We'll be back again next Sunday and we'll be talking again about health, and we'll be looking at a different aspect of health. Remember, behind these products, there's a fantastic business opportunity that can give you some extra income and can also pay you a lot of money depending on what you want. And if you want to go, yes,
let me just add something on that. With somebody had asked about people who sweat hands, and it's usually men. The product that will help is multimineral plus alfalfa. Sweating hands that are so wet, multimineral plus alfalfa. I just thought, let me add that for that particular person because I didn't mention it. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Maybe Maggie, since you are on it, what about nervousness? People are very nervous.
People are nervous. It's actually their system. They can do very well with vitamin B complex. Vitamin B complex is what works on the nervous system. Anything to do with the nervous system, vitamin B complex.
Okay.
Vitamin B complex, those people who talk of they're feeling needles, pins and needles on the feet, vitamin B complex. It's usually a nervous system issue.
Okay.
And also low energy levels for women, vitamin B complex will help with energy production. It helps with burning down carbohydrates to give you energy. Okay. Women, I know they want hair to grow, vitamin B complex. Again, B complex is such a big deal. And as you get older, from about your 45s, you should always make sure you've got a vitamin B because it also reduces the brain aging. Oh, the
Alzheimer's. Okay, so your brain is younger.
Vitamin B complex helps to reduce brain aging.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I think one of these days we should do a Q&A.
Yeah, you could organize for that. Maybe we should do a Q&A one of the nearer Sundays. Maybe that is what we can actually focus on because we have taught for quite a while. Maybe people have got specific things. We could probably get a panel for that.
Yes, I think we need to get a panel and we just do a Q&A.
Yeah, we could do a Q&A. Maybe that is the next other. Yeah.
I think I'll schedule it and then we'll talk and see who else we can get on the panel, and then we can go for it. Fantastic. So guys, there you have it. It's been great having you on the call. Like I was saying, if you want to know more about the business side of things, see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock on the same link that you have. We'll be having Pascal Olo talking to us about how you can make money with the Neolife products, how you can become financially free, how you can travel the world and enjoy a lifestyle. So I see somebody saying a Q&A will be welcome, will be awesome. So we'll be arranging a Q&A as soon as possible, and we'll be informing you about it so that you can come with all your questions, and then we can be able to tackle them. So thank you all. God bless you. Have a great rest of Sunday evening. And I look forward to seeing some of you tomorrow at 8 o'clock, other business presentation. But either way, I look forward to seeing you next Sunday. Come next Sunday, come with a friend. Let us get as many people as possible on this call so that you can be able to make a positive difference in the lives of many people. So thank you all. God bless you and have a blessed evening. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hello. Very well. How are you? Yes, ma'am.